This episode of Co-op is brought to you by GoDaddy.com, Squarespace, and Gamefly.
Games, going to press conferences,
playing games,
checking them out.
Yeah.
Sony, Nintendo.
Well, I mean, we got to see the new Metroid, surprise, right? And we got to see all the cool Sony stuff.
God of War 3.
Ah, fucking awesome.
Stoked about that.
Fucking awesome. This is a life.
Yeah.
E3.
We should do E3 every weekend.
E3 should be every day.
The thing I like about you most is you'd run away with me. So pack your bags and your shotgun too. We might run into zombies. We're always down for that co-op multiplayer action. We're always down. We're so down. We're so down. We're so down for co-op. We're so down for that co-op action.
GoDaddy.com makes it easy to customize your own virtual dedicated server. Choose one of 3 popular plans or select your own Linux or Windows server with all the plan options you need. Plus, enter code CO4 when you check out and save an additional 15% on any order of $75 or more. Some restrictions apply. See site for details. Get your piece of the internet at GoDaddy.com.
Yeah? Good? All right. Microsoft's press conference yesterday was pretty fucking amazing. Like I was thoroughly entertained the whole way through. So I thought that the two that we're going to today, Nintendo and Sony, were gonna, have a lot to live up to.
I mean, there was a point in the Nintendo press conference where I felt like they cut off my dick when they're like, "Here's the women's book club game for you. Here's a vitality measurement thing. Here, exercise a little bit more." And I'm like, man, what happened to you guys? But I think they made up for it.
The funny thing is that women's book club game, I've never heard of that author before, but the game, it looked like Hotel Dust to me. I'm not saying that I'm gonna run right out and buy it, but it looks kind of interesting.
Thinking about it.
It looked kind of interesting.
No,
and then after that, they showed the cop game or whatever, COP, and they're like, if you want something gritty and mature and hard edge, I'm like, that looks like a kid's game. The thing that he showed before that looks like something that an adult could enjoy. Yeah. I wonder if men can enjoy it or if it's just for women. I just don't know the author.
I kind of had to admit, I was like, man, they have James Patterson books on there. Like, I want Tom Clancy books on there, Michael Crichton books on there.
If it's actually interactive storytelling, graphics, and gameplay.
It's not meant for you. It says woman right on the title. It's not for you. And that cop game, the funny thing to me is I don't think they got the memo or saw the NPD figures. If Grand Theft Auto will not do well in DS, there's no chance for any kind of open world hardcore game like that.
It did look surprisingly like, a 3D Grand Theft Auto. Even the frame rate looked okay. It looked like driving looked okay. I mean, I was at least surprised that they were able to pull something like that off when Rockstar wouldn't even try it. I mean, they went on a totally different angle with the DS game. The biggest announcement is obviously the Metroid Other M. I saw Hayashi standing outside the theater before it started, and I was like, what is Team Ninja doing here? Now I know. know that Team Ninja can make a third-person combo-driven action-adventure game, and assuming they can pull that off with Metroid, I mean, that's totally different than the Metroid Prime series, and even what 2D Metroid games are like.
What makes Metroid is like getting that power up that lets you access some area that you couldn't access before. And
Right.
Metroid Prime did that really well. I don't want it to just be like where she's running around shooting things and beating people up or whatever with her powers. I want it to feel like Metroid, where you're like, how do I get in that hole up there?
Right.
How do I reach this spot up there? Oh, I gotta go find whatever power up. It could be an interesting in terms of a more story-driven Metroid.
Well, they said it's more based around her story, right? Her origins. So that could
be really awesome.
Yeah,
because that's a
really
character
cool.
that's never been really explored like
well,
that.
I think they've tried a little bit, especially in Metroid Prime 3, but it just wasn't that
Yeah, it
good.
wasn't
And the other bounty hunters were just dumb. I mean, the best parts of Metroid's story were told through those little scans that you did in the Metroid Prime games. So to get that kind of made more cinematic could be fucking awesome.
The other game that was a big surprise for me, actually, was the announcement of Super Mario Galaxy 2.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting that.
Yeah. At first, I kind of wasn't excited, but then they started, rolling the clip, and seeing that ice level where he like pushes the button and the lake goes frozen, and he's slipping and sliding down it and like throwing snowballs. And
for me, it was the drill, the drill tool that he could use to like drill through the side of a planet and come out the other side of it.
Yeah, obviously new weapons, just building on what they already had with Mario Galaxy. I'm actually pretty excited for that.
And then, if you want a 2D Mario, you get the new Super Mario Bros. On Wii. One of the things that I liked least about new Super Mario Bros. On DS was that even though there were new power-ups, they felt kind of gimmicky. Like I use them every once in a while, like, oh, I grow big now, and this part of the stage is made for me to grow big, whatever. I hope that it feels more like the kind of wonder you felt when you were playing Super Mario Bros. 3 and you got the shoe for the first time, or the Tanuki suit. Yeah, something like that,
I think I would be skeptical of this if I never played Four Swords Adventures, right? When we saw that, it was kind of like, really? It's like a dumbed down, multiplayer-oriented Zelda, and it's like, but then it turned out to be really awesome. So if they could capture that Four Swords spirit in Mario form, that's like another awesome combination. That's like another winner. So I was like super excited about that as well.
What if life was like Squarespace?
Squarespace is a publishing system for anyone looking to build a blog, portfolio, or any kind of website. Squarespace offers a uniquely flexible tool for just about anyone, no coding experience required, to build high-end, complex websites with the same functionality and uniqueness that you find on some of the highest trafficked pages on the web. Good taste not included. Sign up today and use promo code COOP.
The Sony press conference was, I think, to me, more impressive than Nintendo's. Maybe not quite as much as the Microsoft one, but I really, really liked what they had to show. Uncharted 2 looks really, really amazing to me.
Oh God, be careful.
Holy shit.
I've got you, give me your hand.
Just go!
That's a game that I didn't think I was going to be that excited about, because I really liked the first Uncharted, but I don't know, something about the change of locale, the fact that it's in a town, and now they're showing your AI partner and the way that she's interacting with you throughout the game.
What do you reckon? We're gonna have to climb that thing?
Yeah, that's usually what happens. Back here!
Get up, Paul! You okay?
Yeah, never better.
I'm super excited about getting my hands on that finally. And
the PSP lineup was crazy. I mean, they started it off with, here's a new Metal Gear on PSP. They've called it a full sequel to the game.
Yeah,
so.
that Gran Turismo finally, I mean, they didn't show much of it, so it'll be cool to get to go play it, but that, they said Resident Evil's coming. I think it's just great that it's going to be finally what I wanted from the PSP when the PSP first came out. I mean, I think there was just a lot of years where there were some good games, but it never really felt like it was sticking all that much. And now we're finally getting the core franchises, like real versions of those games. And I don't know, I'm pretty excited to start playing more on my PSP this year. Although I don't know if I'm going to be getting the new Go thing. I think I can stick with my old
$249. That's really expensive,
yeah,
actually.
Expensive. It seems like a cool device. The fact that it's smaller, like I definitely think people will buy it. But I'm also really glad that they're not planning on getting rid of the old PSPs and keeping those going as well, so that they're cheaper alternatives.
So I don't really know about that because, I mean, if I was a consumer, I'm like, okay, which way do I go? There's two kind of similar products. There's a newer one. People are going to start shifting away from PSP, and if you're a developer, you know, do you develop for the future, or like, do you want to bother with UMD discs? My feeling is they want to say that because they don't want to lose any PSP 3000 sales.
I think they'll eventually stop making UMD games, and to me, as an owner of the PSP, whatever, 2000, 3000, 1000, it doesn't really bother me to download the games digitally rather than buying them on UMD. It's simply that there's a cheaper option available. Like, if I wouldn't mind getting a PSP Go, but I don't really have $250 or whatever to spend on a new device now. And so the fact that you can get the exact same games on a system that's $100 cheaper almost is really nice. I mean, they're not the new features in the PSP Go aren't features that a developer really needs to worry about when deciding whether or not they're going to make a game for this platform or this platform. It's still just PSP.
With flash memory as cheap as it is, I can pop a 16 gig, memory stick duo into my PSP and have the same capability. Like, even as a brand new consumer that has never, purchased any one of those, like, I'd rather go for the cheaper system.
I think iPhone, says that if you have something that fits in your pocket, which PSP doesn't I mean, you can put one in your pocket, but does that mean you would put one in your pocket? Probably not. Whereas the PSP Go, you might carry that around in your pocket. It's about the size of a wallet, Yeah. And I think, that might not be for you and I, but there are consumers out there where size does matter. There are people buying MacBook Airs, and that's not for me, but they sell, so.
But its most distinctive and cool feature is the glowing sphere on the end that the PlayStation Eye can track.
Their motion controller. They finally showed it.
It's so weird, like, because it's extra weird for me to see it because we just saw what Microsoft's planning. Your hands-on or your body-on experience is going to matter a lot. But in the end, it's like, will we start to lose all the momentum they've gained because they have the lowest tech of what these guys are offering and the lowest, like, graphics fidelity.
I hope that they're spending tons of money on research and development, and 1 year from now, 2 years from now, we're gonna just go to some press conference and there's gonna be some crazy announcement about what they're doing next that is totally, maybe they're like, yeah, we did motion control, and now everyone's gonna try to catch up and do motion control. We're gonna do something totally different. I don't know what that would be though.
They just updated to their, Wii Motion Plus. And then everyone else just blazed past them in one press conference. You got total body control, you've got one-to-one control, like real motion, it's crazy.
There's a difference between tech demos and products.
True.
And Wii Motion Plus is a product now. I mean, it took a year. That's my main thing.
Plus
is like
Wii Sports, like Wii Sports Resort.
Right.
I think that's a big difference than in terms of what consumers see and what they're going to buy versus what Sony showed off, which was technologically awesome. But low tech also equals low cost. Part of the reason for their success is the low price of the Wii itself.
Exactly.
So
the Wii costs as much as the new PSP Go. That's crazy.
The dual wand setup, like, man, you would have so many options being able to pick up objects, but the combat demonstrations they were doing.
I want to do fork and spoon.
Yeah, think about Cooking Mama with that thing. It would be super intense. Anyway, I'm not saying that.
Wait. They show you this technology, and that's you talk about a cooking game, you talk about an eating game. Is that what you guys think about? Like there's like swords going on and ninja stars. There's like cool guy stuff you could do with this.
The cool guy shit is the first-person shooter. Like, we always wanted a first-person shooter when the Wii controller first came out. It was like, let's do this right. And I had fun with Metroid Prime 3. I thought that was awesome. But it doesn't feel like you're playing a first-person shooter with a keyboard and a mouse or even a controller. It doesn't feel the same way. And to be able to do that with real motion tracking of my body plus my hands, and that's why they made a point to say something about, we have body tracking, and when we're firing a gun, you pull a trigger in ours, and that makes it feel like real. And I think that's semi-legitimate, but again, we haven't tried these things, but I do want to play with them pretty badly.
Like Will said, this is super easy. We're just using regular driving controls here. We've got elevation on the right stick so we can make some hills, and it's smart enough that if we cross over the track, it's gonna put in a little overpass or something for us.
Speaking of Sony's innovation, I was actually really stoked to see the track creating game they made.
Mod Nation Racers.
Mod Nation Racers.
That's the name of it. I don't know. It's like the next extension. Little Big Planet was like the build your own platform game, and now we have the build your own kart racing game.
I love it. And it's so easy too. Like it just, you create it like you're driving, you know?
Yep.
You show the road following behind you. Same thing with putting in land and trees and raising levels and lowering levels and creating oceans, and
you just can't beat a demonstration like that where in such a short period of time, 5 minutes or whatever,
5 minutes.
It's like nothing to something that could have been in a game 2 years ago. Or now that the software is so good that, you know, what you imagine can be put onto the canvas in front of you in like minutes instead of, you know, months or years, whatever it took to make games before.
Or even hours, yeah.
I'm excited to see. I want to play this game, number one, and number two, I want to see more genres. Like, where's the build your own FPS?
How it'll get to like Little Big Planet levels of popularity is if they could let people put in like your own images and stuff, like maybe for the billboard or for some of the textures. I don't know how, but
maybe using a camera just like you do in Little Big Planet.
Yeah, because you're not gonna get to see all that the cool designs on a car and the racer so much. 'Cause you're not looking at that. You're looking at the track while you're playing. Because that's the beauty of Little Big Planet, is all the really different looking content where people import their own shit.
What's wrong, Billy? No money for new games? Well, try GameFly. GameFly is the largest online video game rental service and offers you a choice from over 6,000 new and classic titles across all consoles and handhelds. With plans starting at $15.95 a month, GameFly members can rent 1 to 4 games at a time and keep them for as long as they like. There are no late fees, no due dates, and shipping is always free. Once you're done playing a game, send it back and GameFly will send you the next available game on your list. If you really like the game you're playing, simply click Keep It on the GameFly website and the game is yours, at a discounted price. GameFly will even mail you the case and manuals free of charge. Co-op fans will get a 2-week free trial when they go to gamefly.com/co-op. Some restrictions apply, see site for details.
Sony's also got, I mean, a bunch of big games that are coming out this year, and I mean, the big one to me, it's always, I love Team Ico. They are my favorite creators of video games, especially, well, single player games anyway. The Last Guardian, as it's known now, not Project Rico. They showed an updated trailer from the one that just leaked to the internet a couple weeks ago.
It wasn't the same trailer?
No, it looks so much better.
Yeah, it's like the art was completely redone in this version. All that stuff was about a year old. If you compare them side by side, there's a lot of new elements.
I think for Last Guardian, I want to bet, I'll put the spoiler alert out there, but even though this is just my guess, I have no idea. The creature is going to either die or come really close to dying to the point where they want to make you cry.
Right.
It's like this is your pet and it's going to suffer and it's going to lay there and look at you and like, oh no, and then people are going to cry.
The new Assassin's Creed, the trailer the playthrough we've all been waiting for was finally at the Sony event. You know,
I'm damn excited about that game. I love the first one, you know, despite its flaws. And I'm not arguing the word flaws because it was a very flawed game, but I loved it despite its flaws. This one, I'm really hoping, based on what we've seen, that it's gonna make up for a lot of those mistakes.
And it sounds like, yeah, they know, like, because the first thing he said was like, wasn't it like variety?
Yeah.
So I think they knew loud and clear like what everyone was complaining about with the first games.
We've constructed our game, around someone who isn't an assassin at first, but who will learn to become one with the help of some friends. Leonardo da Vinci is one of those friends. Ezio will use him as his own personal inventor. Leonardo will make him weapon upgrades, gadgets, and machine, like we have here, his famous flying machine. flying machine is a good example of the diversity of experience found in AC2. The fire that you see around Venice gives speed and altitude to the glider. And Ezio can even take some enemies down his path.
He's talking about Final Fantasy 13 and all these other things that are going out, and then he goes, and we have the worldwide announcement of Final Fantasy 14, and the crowd just laughs.
I heard someone near us go, what?
I think what they should have done is just like, by the way, we have a real big trailer. It's real. It's legit. Let me just let it play for you. And then you kind of start to piece it together, and you see the chocobo, and then there'd be a buzz in the crowd, right? People would be like, "What's going on? What's going on? What is this?" And then the logo, and then that would have been much more effective, and just in terms of pure delivery.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It wouldn't have been as funny though.
And then there's God of War,
which is
holy shit.
Really impressive. God, I thought the screenshots didn't look that good.
I thought so too. And it was the brutal ass kills that made it for me. Like when he flops the Minotaur on his side, rips his stomach open, and pulls out his intestines. I was like, the crowd uniformly went, oh!
God of War 1 and 2 are so epic and they're so beautiful already. It's kind of hard to see what PlayStation 3 will bring to it, you know, in terms of power. But I mean, that big giant fire monster in the background looks so cool.
Every God of War, you can feel them increasing the scale little by little. You know, every time they say, we thought we couldn't do this, but we did it, you know? We thought we couldn't do this, but we did it. I'm really excited to see what they thought they couldn't do on PS3, but they actually pulled off, you know? Like what crazy monsters you fight, or group of monsters you're hopping from back to back and then flying, I don't know, whatever.
Yes, Kratos has some of the standard combos, but there were a lot of new ones where he would like grab an enemy with his chains, rush forward. There's one where he like starts running and then can smash him on the ground. There's a few where he can like grip him and like slam back down from the ground into him, and like all these flying leaps.
And someday God of War 4 with the dual wand motion controllers, so you could do the chain stuff. Wouldn't that be cool?
I'll play that shit.
The one thing that made Sony's press conference so energizing and interesting is that they didn't show the same stuff that Microsoft showed, right? They also had Modern Combat 2, but they showed a logo.
Yeah.
So they got Assassin's Creed, Microsoft had Modern Combat 2, so it's kind of like they're splitting up the third-party software even a little bit, you know, and that kind of keeps it interesting, even though you know it's for both.
Right.
It's not that I have like any kind of particular loyalties to Sony or something, but I like that, okay, hey, we have Final Fantasy 14, the Rockstar game, you know, what's it called?
Agent.
Yeah, Agent. It's like, it's nice to see them, besides their own first-party games, get some of that kind of Sony kind of cachet back. It's like, hey, look, we're huge. We can get Rockstar to make us a game. We could get Square to make us a game.
We can get a new Resident Evil straight up for PSP that you've never played before.
It's crazy. It's awesome. And it's made for a very good set of conferences, you know? Like, I am not disappointed by any of them. Yeah,
it was the best set of press conferences in maybe my entire, you know, set of years covering this industry as a, you know, professional. And I'm glad it's over, but I'm glad it was awesome. And I can't wait till next year.